Hi, this is Fred with Quality One Engravers. I'm going to do a simple plate 2x4 with a couple of lines of text on there, and I'm going to with putting some holes on there also. So I'm going to use that paragraph type text. Line 1, line 2. Okay. F7, F8 to zoom the plate. It was a good number 1. There we go. And I'm going to just give this a color P1. And then I'm going to draw a box and give it a width of 4, give it a height of 2, and the X at 0, and just hit enter. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is make sure the upper left hand corner is also at 0. So it's at 0, 0. I'm going to double click on this box, go to the upper right, and I'm going to give it a 1/4 inch radius, 0.25. Click away to accept it. And now what I'm going to do, this is the part that I want to make. Now I'm also going to put some holes in it. So I'm going to come over here, and I know I want 1/8 inch holes. Now unfortunately I have to put in the radius, which I have to know that half of 0.125 is 0.0625, but for this example, I'm going to type in 0.125, knowing that it's going to be too big. So when I select this, you see it's a 1/4 inch. So with this in proportional scaling, I can change this to 5/0 and hit enter. Alright, and then what I do is I go to my array, and I go X and Y, and I usually make this 4 by -2, okay, which is my plate size, which is something that I already know. Then what I'm going to do is I know that I want it a 1/4 inch in from every corner, so I have to minus, or excuse me, in this case I have to add 0.5 to it, and then in this case I am going to minus 0.5. Okay, and then close. Now I'm going to assign these, holding the shift key down and selecting them all. I'm going to give them a different color, P2. So I'm going to have the border be P3. So I've got 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now I want to select just the P2. I'm going to hold the Alt key, select just P2. Now I want this dead center, so if I wanted to, I could go, I know that X on a 2x4, this is 1 or 2 inches, and this would be 1 inch down, and I know that's in the center. I could have also had them way out here and grouped them, Control G, which is not a bad idea to do, and go Alt Home and End to put them in the center. Okay, so now I'm going to come back here, hold the Alt key down, and click on P2. So here's my entire plate. So I'm going to select it all, go to my badges. Well, you know what, before I do that, I'm going to take this. I know I'm going to want to cut out the badges, but I also want to drill the holes. So I'm going to do the drilling of the holes here, and then after we'll do the cutout also. So I want to do the drilling, so I'm going to go to this drill tool and drill centers, and I just happen to have the 1/8 inch end mill selected, and it's 0.65 deep, so maybe it's 1/16 inch material, and I might want to do that in 3 passes, and then say OK and OK. So now P12, which was a pretty good color to call it, because since I'm using an 1/8 inch tool, so I now have a 1, 2, 3 and a P12. So now I'm going to select everything, go to my badges, and actually, you know what, you don't, oops, undo, let me undo. In this particular case, I do know that underneath here I have a circle here. This is my P2. So it's really the only one that I do not want to select. So I'm going to undo, and I'm going to hit the Control key and the P2, so that's not selected. So Control A, and now I'm going to go to my badges, and I want 24 parts, And let's see, the last example that I did use a 0.3. Maybe I want 0.25 top, 0.25 on the left, 0.25 on the bottom. A lot of times on the bottom you can get by with a lower number, but and 0.25 on the right. And we want my spacing to be 0.25 and 0.25. So this will be the spacing between it. And if you want another part, of course, you'll see 25 of them. Now, if I had this replacement text, I'll show you what happens. It remembers what I got last time, and if I click on OK, of course, it doesn't come in proper, so I'm going to undo that. Again, go Control A, go back to my badges, and just uncheck that, and then say OK. Except for it didn't remember. Undo, Control A, go back to badges, and retell it that I wanted 25 of them, and then say OK. Okay, so there's my parts. Now, I do know that this outer is P3, so I'm going to hold the Alt key down and select P3, go Control A, and then I'm going to go to my engrave and create a tool path. And I remember males as being bigger, so I want a path that goes around this, and I'm going to go 0.65 deep. And this one also I want to do in 3 passes, assuming that's what you want. And then I'm going to say, and I'm going to give it P13 just for argument's sake, and then say OK. Now the P13 happens to be invisible because it's not selected. Hold down the Alt key, hit P3. So there's my plates for doing my cutouts. Now on a job like this, usually what I do is I do all my drilling in my holes, and then actually the first thing I do is engrave my text, do the drilling of my holes, and then come back and do the cutouts. So in the first case, I'm going to click on P1, select everything, send it to the engraver. Then I'm going to come back, Alt P1, and then I'm going to look for P12. This is all my holes that it's going to engrave. Send that to the engraver, and then hold the Alt key, go to P13, and now this will do the cutout. I hope this helps.